Welcome, eternal traveler. Each journey here is a whisper of the mystical and a touch of the divine. If touching the source wisdom speaks to your spirit, please like, subscribe, and share. Now relax, and let's begin. The whisper above the ceiling. It began on a night when sleep felt more like a rumor than a promise. The clock on my nightstand said 1:43 a.m., but time didn't feel real. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to a faint, steady rhythm coming from the apartment above me. Slow footsteps, a chair dragging slightly, water running, then silence before the pattern returned again. It wasn't loud enough to be a real problem, but it was just loud enough to feel personal. I sighed, rolled over, and stared toward the window where thin lines of streetlight slipped through the blinds. Somewhere far off, a train horn called out into the night and faded. The world was still moving, even if I wanted it to pause. Why can't it just be still? I whispered into the dark. The moment the question left me, something in the room shifted. The air seemed to take one long inhale, deep and ancient. A heaviness and lightness washed over me at the same time, as though gravity and weightlessness had reached an agreement. My body remained in bed, but my awareness loosened, like a hand slowly unclenching. One blink later, I was standing in the hallway outside my apartment door, barefoot, wearing the same sleep shirt I had on a moment ago. The hallway stretched ahead, lit by a single soft bulb humming at the far end. Everything looked sharper, edges cleaner, and colors deeper, like reality had slipped quietly into a higher resolution. The footsteps above echoed gently, calling in a way footsteps shouldn't. A quiet knowing nudged me to go upstairs. I climbed the stairwell, each step silent under my feet, as if the building itself were listening. When I reached the top landing, I faced the door of the apartment directly above mine. The air around it felt thick with expectation. I raised my hand and knocked once. The knock was soft, but the echo it sent through me was deep and strange, like tapping on the wall of a dream. The footsteps stopped. Silence fell. Then the doorknob turned, and the door opened inward. Standing there was me. He appeared older by a handful of years, with a little more gray at the temples and a softness in the eyes. He looked at me not with surprise, but with recognition, like someone who had been expecting a visitor, but not the timing. "Hey," he said gently. "You finally made it up here." I stammered the complaint I had prepared. I can hear you walking around at night. I'm trying to sleep. I keep wondering why you're always moving." He motioned me inside. "Come see," he said. "It'll make sense." The apartment layout was identical to mine. Same kitchen, same living room, same narrow hallway. But the walls were different. Every inch of wall space was covered in mirrors. Small mirrors, large mirrors, round, square, oval, some cracked, some fogged, some clear as new water. Everywhere I turned, I saw myself, my face in angles I'd never seen, my younger expressions, my older ones, reflections of versions I had forgotten I'd ever been. "What are you doing up here every night?" I asked quietly. He walked to a rectangular mirror near the window. I followed, and for a moment, his reflection and mine layered over one another, like two transparencies fighting to decide which one was real. "I'm doing what you're doing downstairs," he said, "pacing in your thoughts, moving your worries from one corner of your mind to another, replaying old arguments and imagining futures that haven't happened. I'm listening to the noise inside and blaming the noise outside." He didn't sound accusatory. He sounded understanding. "You hear my footsteps," he said softly, "because you haven't learned to love your own yet." I felt something shift inside me. "I don't understand." He smiled warmly. "When you can't rest with yourself, you'll always find someone outside to blame for your restlessness. But the world is your inner volume turned outward. Every neighbor, every interruption, every annoyance, that's you, calling you back to yourself. He placed his hand on a mirror, and the reflections inside it brightened, glowing like lamps warming from within. "You created me pacing up here," he said, "not to irritate you, to wake you. You said long before this life, when I forget who I am, let my world become mirrors. Let me hear myself until I listen." My eyes moved across the sea of reflections. Some faces looked hopeful. Some were wounded. Some wise. Some were frightened. All versions of me. "What am I supposed to do with this?" I whispered. "Start by owning it," he said. "Own the whole building. Own the hallway. Own your neighbors. Own your frustrations. When you say, 'They are keeping me awake,' you give away your power. When you say, 'Some part of me is calling me to wake up,' the story changes." He gently touched a mirror with a thin crack running through it. Instead of repairing, the crack filled with light, glowing like a golden river. "There are no broken reflections," he said, "only places where the light wants to shine louder." Emotion swelled in my chest, a kind of quiet ache, recognition, not remorse. "So who are you?" I finally asked. He looked into the mirror, meeting my eyes through our layered reflections. "I'm the version of you who stopped blaming the outside world," he said. "The you who knows all is one, and the one is all. I'm the upstairs neighbor who exists inside every thought you rise into. You just call me someone else." The room began to soften around us, as though dissolving back into the glow from which it came. The mirrors dimmed, their reflections drifting into mist. The walls turned to air. The floor grew weightless. Then I felt my mattress beneath me again. The ceiling above looked ordinary once more. The streetlight painted faint lines on the wall. My blanket rested across my legs. But the footsteps were gone. Completely gone. The whole building felt as quiet as a held breath. Lying there, I thought. This entire building was inside of me. Every noise, every silence, every stranger, every reflection, my own consciousness dressed in different clothes. I whispered into the darkness. Tomorrow, when someone annoys me, I'll try to remember this is another lamp in my house, another version of me, waiting to be met with love. A gentle warmth spread through my chest, soft and steady, the kind of warmth that doesn't need explanation, only acknowledgement. If someone in your life is making noise right now, someone who feels like an interruption, consider that they may be a mirror, not to blame, not to resent, but to reveal something about your own light. You are the creator of what you meet. You are the dreamer walking through your own dream. You are the light behind all the glass, appearing as every face you have ever loved or feared or misunderstood. As you drift into sleep, may you feel your life from the inside. May you open your inner doors gently. May you greet every version of yourself with compassion. All is one. The one is all. And the world is yourself made manifest. Until the next time, and so it is.